Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Hunty's World of Pain on tour. So I had so much fun yesterday going over a blitz arse kicking. I thought I'd do it with not just one, gonna do two today. So it's a double header of the World of Pain on tour. Okay, both games played today. Here I'm rated 1428, opponent is Jericho 018, rated 1388, and we have ourselves a Siciliano. I play the close Sicilian, going for the Grand Prix attack. Here we are. And very quick A3. Opponent's playing very quickly, actually, here. I develop my knight. This is all normal. And they make to fianchetto the king's bishop. I now push D3. But the reason is that my bishop's not going to come to here. So I'm not going to get to swap it off for that knight. So we forget about the bishop, right? We push D3. The bishop can come to E2 where it's not actually in anyone's way, because we can castle, we can get a queen via E1 to one of these squares and crack on with the attack. They fianchetto the bishop, I just move my bishop so I can castle. They develop the knight, I castle, they develop the knight, queen E1. Right? Very thematic move. And then this one baffled me. So he spent all of 1.9 seconds on this move and undeveloped his knight back to D7 in order to prevent black from developing his bishop. I mean, what the hey? I play bishop d2, which is kind of a waiting move. I'm thinking, well, I want to connect my rooks. I might put my bishop on here at some point, for example, if he takes, which would be stupid, but, so I'm just waiting. Now he pushes e5, and I think, sod it, let's go for it, right? I'm castled, he's not, right? What he should be doing is getting castled, not cracking open the center. And at this point, it all goes tits up. So he takes, I take back. Right? Now, I've got my rook looking down there. My queen is still looking at his king. He ain't castled yet. Does he get to castle? Let's find out. Pawn to f6. For reasons best known. Okay. So now his queen's blocked in as well. So I play queen g3 attacking that bishop, which is undefended. He defends with a rook. Queen h4. Now, looking at this pawn on h7, which is undefended, so he pushes it forward. Okay. Now, the eagle-eyed among you will notice that we actually have an overwhelm on here, so I could capture on there with my bishop. If he takes, I take back with the queen, we're all right. But I find another move, queen h5 check, and there ain't no way of blocking that check, so his king's going to have to move. Oh no, king goes to e7. What would you play here? Okay. Again, I could still capture the pawn, but I decided to throw my knight in. I'd actually been eyeing up this little outpost because the pawns can't take the knight there. I can always throw in c4, and that knight is, settling down for the knight. Pardon the pun. Okay, but it comes to check, and now the king has to move again. Now bishop takes h6 because bishop takes, queen takes comes with check. He blocks with a rook, and I decide to bring my pieces to bear. Okay, this knight's going to come in here, and black is simply going to pay the price. He moves his king again, bishop comes in now with check, king goes to g8, and now I'm kind of struggling to know how to proceed. So I actually spend 31 seconds on my next move, because it ain't that clear. I mean, I could throw in my knight here with the idea of putting my queen there, but again, that's not mate. Plus, if I put my knight here, he's got rook h7, and then my queen has to retreat down this diagonal. And then what about my bishop? Could actually lose material. There, queen must retreat. Let's say here, rook takes bishop. All right, not great. So I decide to unpack even more firepower with rook f3. His queen now moves to f8. Kind of defending the rook, but after my next move, black actually resigns after quite a long think, actually. So knight g6, and he thinks for about a minute and then resigns the game. I mean, yes, this is definitely on. The king does have an escape square, but then we have, all kinds of stuff. So his queen's going to have to move. If you look at the eval here, it's 6.6, 6.8, 7.1. It's totally winning for white here. Best move is actually rook h7 here. And then queen takes. Wow. Yeah. So he still had that move, which he probably should have played. Oh no. Yeah, wow. So the computer's saying rook h7 and then take the rook. King takes. Oh, then we take the queen after all. So, yeah, there you go. Take the rook, it's completely forcing. If rook takes here, it's mate in 9. If you push it, does anything else like e4, it's mate in 2. Queen h8. King comes to here. And then knight to e5. Knight takes e5. What? Okay, so if that pawn's moved, for example, I can come here. It's a discovered check. It's a double check. He can't go there. Wow, he can't go there. Yeah. Wow, what a mess. So here's the important thing, right? What did black do wrong? This is all okay. So I'll switch lines off, but I'm going to keep the eval on. This is okay. This is all okay. Computer doesn't mind. Slightest of edges for white, but nothing more than white normally has. Actually prefers black slightly here after that move. This is an odd one. And the engine is slightly inclined to agree, okay. Normal, normal, normal. Still, the eval is happy. Probably shouldn't have taken there, he's saying. All normal. Queen to here. Now, this, okay. So after queen there, it's now plus 2.9 for white. So actually after this move, yeah, so this is now balanced. After this pawn push, there you go, 2.9. So this is the key mistake. And it is an odd move. I mean, this bishop is completely undefended. So he was just really, really clumsy with his kingside. Right? He should have just got castled there. And then if I push the pawn forward, he just sits and waits. You don't have to accept every potential capture. But after this, it's really just curtains now. Because he's 3 moves away from castling queenside. He simply can't castle his king straight in front of a marauding queen with a bishop ready to fly in. So, just be careful. Be careful in those opening moves. Okay, ready for another one. Let's flip it. Okay, Neil Shah 99. We actually played 3 games this morning. And on this one I have the black pieces. He's rated 1401. I'm 1428. We have e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6, and the Spanish. And the Danish. Okay, which he declines with d3, and this is okay. I decide to take here. We've got the eval on still. He takes back. I push. Now, would you, as white, capture this knight right here? The general rule, I mean, there's a couple of good reasons not to. The one reason to capture the knight could be, well, you give black an extra pawn island. So 3 pawn islands, right? So I'm going to have an isolated A pawn. But there are a couple of good reasons not to. Okay, one is you've got a bishop, it's developed in the board, right? Why just rub it out? Spend your move getting more stuff into the board instead of eliminating the stuff you've already developed. Okay. On the other hand, you've also got a pin. And that pin is worth something. That pin means this knight legally cannot move, right? This knight is no danger to anyone right now. So why eliminate it? Anyway, white takes it. Take back the b pawn. And now he decides to sacrifice a knight here in order that if I recapture with my pawn, which I do, he trades queens, which I'm not bothered about. Yes, I've got a right mess of pawns. I have 4 pawn islands here. But on the other hand, where's all of white's army? Right? Half of it has been obliterated, right, through white's own choices, and the other half is still in the bloody box. Okay, so I have an extra bishop. I have a light squared bishop. You don't. I've got a light squared bishop. So what white needs to do now is to take advantage of this spacious board and come at me with his 2 bishops and his queen, which he hasn't got. In fact, he's got no development whatsoever. So this is a very stupid game. Okay, now he moves his king. Okay, also, the fact that the queens have come off the board means that although I can't castle now, is a lot less of a concern because the threat level is reduced, right? He brings out a knight and bishop and pins my knight. I break the pin with my bishop. He links his pawns, and now it's time to use the bishop pair. Remember, we talked about this, okay? The bishop pair, very powerful. The bishop pair, okay? Pow and kapow on here. And what can he do? Right, there's nothing for it. The king has to go offside, has to go for an adventure up here. Let's hit the bishop. Rook comes across with check. I ain't even bothered. King e7. He decides to trade off his remaining bishop. Big mistake. Huge. I take. Now the king can't go here anymore, or here, or here, right, because of my marauding bishop. So it's going to end in pain. Rook a to g8. Check. King comes here. Bishop down there, check again. Blocks with a pawn. Pawn to h5, right? And he just resigns. So what did he do wrong? Well, I would say... So we have the eval. The eval is now, oh, white's doing fine. White's doing fine. He's a pawn up, right? This is good. This is, you know, computer says this is not a great move from black. But computer, it's called a gambit. Get over it, right? The point is I'm playing against a flesh and blood human being, hopefully, with a brain, hopefully, and emotions and all that kind of stuff. And they're not expecting the gambit. So this, almost inviting him to trade off. And let's see what happens. So we've got from 1.2 now, one pawn up stable, takes. Now it's gone to 0.4 for what? For 0.2, right? White's advantage, gone. Right, and there we go. I take back, and yeah, white is now plus 0.2, which is basically, isn't that the advantage that white starts with at the start of the game? Let's check. I'm just watching the eval bar here. Well, it says actually even. Okay, there you go. Bishop takes, I take back, and now he sacks his knight. I mean, that's just ignorant. That's just dumb. Right? So it's like, I don't like my developed pieces. I'm going to trade them all off in the stupidest possible way. In fact, there goes my queen. And now it's -3 in black's favour. Okay? When after this move, 1.5-ish. Okay? So it's just like white has not only shot himself in the foot, but he's added insult to injury by scrawling obscene messages on his own face with a knife. King d8, and he's basically lost from this point because of the bishop pair, right? Wide open board, right? Loads of space, lots of long lines of sight, and he's got a bishop and a knight what is still in the box. Terrible. So he's basically lost it from that point. So there you go. I hope these are useful. I mean, I could go over my own terrible, you know, complete embarrassing failures and losses as well, but it's a lot less fun than showing Hunty's World of Pain. Thank you for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm off as assistant referee on a rugby match this afternoon. Hopefully it's not going to be too windy. Hopefully it's not going to be too cold. But anyway, that's all good. Thanks for watching. See you soon.